It is better to use factorization method if this left hand side can be factorized than using complete the square method. Now let's check the formula method. Now this is the quadratic formula. Many people call it the almighty formula, but it's just simply the quadratic formula. Is the formula method. In general form of quadratic equation, we have ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. The root of the general quadratic equation are found by completing the square method. Now, this is the general form of quadratic equation. Now, what I'm going to show you now is how to derive or how to prove the almighty formula using the complete the square method. So the quadratic equation comes in this form. As I told you earlier, the coefficient of x squared is a, the coefficient of the coefficient of x is b, while c is the third number, all equals to 0 in this form. Now, using the completing the square method, you have to make sure that the coefficient of x squared is 1. Now, to make the coefficient of x squared to be 1, you divide everything by a, so that we don't have ax squared, so that we have just 1x squared. So if you divide everything by a, we now have x squared plus b over ax plus c over a equals to 0. So we now have x squared plus b over ax equals to minus c over a. You take the c over a to the right hand side. Don't forget that when you are using the complete the square method, you take the third number to the right hand side to get it in this form. And after this is x, and this is the coefficient of x. The coefficient of x is b over a. Don't forget that we add the square of half the coefficient of x to both sides. Now the coefficient of x is b over a, so we are going to add the square of half of b over a to both sides. We now have x squared plus b over ax plus b over a divided by 2, that is b over a times 1 over 2 here, all square, equals to minus c over a plus the same b over 2a all square that you are adding to both sides. So this minus c over a plus b over 2a square will give us minus c over a plus b square over 4a square. That is 2 square is 4a. You have opened this bracket to give this. Now, as I used to tell you earlier, for better understanding, you just take this b over a s off, this s and its coefficient, you just take it off, so that you have this and this alone. So having this and this alone, you now have x plus b over 2a all square, this their square, equals to what you have here. Now what you have here is solved to give this. Hope you know how to solve using LCM. The LCM of this now is 4a square. You get this from this. Now getting this, you now root both sides to remove this square. So we now have x plus b over 2a equals to plus or minus root of everything here. Now the root of everything here, now if you root 4a squared, it will give us 2a. Now as you root everything here, now Over here you are not written everything, you are written only the numerator. So you have plus or minus root b square minus 4ac all over 2a. Now taking this plus b over 2a to the right hand side, we now have s equals to minus b over 2a plus or minus root b square minus 4ac all over 2a. Now you now have s equals to minus b plus or minus root b square minus 4ac all over 2a. You collect LCM. So this is the formula. This is called the quadratic formula. Now let's see how to use this quadratic formula to solve quadratic equation. Now look at this. Find correct to two decimal place the root of the equation. 3s squared minus 5s minus 7 equals to 0. We want to look at how we can use the quadratic formula to solve this instead of using factorization or complete the square method. Now 3s squared minus 5s minus 7 equals to 0. Using the formula, as I told you earlier, if you compare this with as squared plus bs plus c equals to 0, you see that this 3 is a, this minus 5 is b, while this minus 7 is c. So you have it a equals to 3, b equals to minus 5, and c equals to minus 7. Inserting the formula, that is representing the numbers with the properties of the formula, we now have s equals to minus 5 plus or minus roots minus 5 square minus 4 times 3 times minus 7 all over 2 times 3. That will give us 5 plus or minus root 25 plus 84, solving everything, over 6. So it will give us 5 plus or minus root 109 over 6, which will give us 5 plus or minus 10.44 all over 6. Now if you use the addition, it will give you 15.44 over 6, or if you use the subtraction, it will give you minus 5.44 over 6. So the answer is x is either 2.57 or minus 0.91. Let's quickly look at this example 16 and we call it a day for the quadratic equation class. Solve 2s squared plus 5 equals to 9s by completing the square number b by formula. For a, using the completing the square, we have 2s squared plus 5 equals to 9x. So this implies 2s squared minus 9s equals to minus 5. Dividing through by 2, we have s squared. We divide through by 2 to make the coefficient of x to be 1. Whenever you are solving with complete the square method, the coefficient of x has to be 1. So if the coefficient of x is not 1, you have to look for a way to make it 1 by dividing all through by the coefficient of x squared. So if you divide this 2s squared minus 9s equals to minus 5 by 2, it will now give us s squared minus 9 over 2s equals to minus 5 over 2. Now you now add half of minus 9 over 2 square to both sides. Don't forget you add the square of half the coefficient of x to both sides. So the coefficient of x now is 9 over 2. So you are now going to add the square of half of this 9 over 2 to both sides. So half of this is 9 over 2 minus 9 over 2. Sorry, the coefficient of x now is 9 minus 9 over 2. So half of minus 9 over 2 all square is this. We are going to add it to both sides. So half of minus 9 over 2 all square will give us 81 all over 16. So we have x square minus 9x plus 81 over 16 equals to 81 over 16 minus 5 over 2. We now have x minus 9 over 4. Don't forget, I asked you for that for easy to get it, the complete the square method easy. You just remove this, but you use this sign here. Now we are using x and 81 over 16. We now have x minus 81 over 16 all square. So the square root of 81 is 9. The square root of 16 is 4 to give us the square. You know, there's no square here now. So to create the square, it will give us 9 over 4 all square. Now when you have 9 over 4 here, you now put the square of this one and this one outside the bracket here. So the calculation of this 81 over 16 minus 5 over 2 gives us 41 over 16. Now over here we now have to remove the square by adding the square root both sides. When you square root both sides, this one will now give you x minus 9 over 2 equals to plus or minus 41 over 16. So x equals to 9 plus or minus root 41 all over 4. The root of 4, the root of 16 equals to 4. So you collect the LCM. S equals to 9 plus or minus 6.403 over 4. So if you are using the plus, you get 3.85. If you are using the minus, you get 0.65. Now let's look at how we can use the formula called the almighty formula, where we have 2x squared plus 5 equals to 9x. You now take this 9 to this side to give you 2x squared minus 9x plus 5 equals to 0. This equation is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0, where this is a equals to 2, minus 9 equals to b, c equals to plus 5. This is the formula, and this is the properties that you are going to use for this equation. 2 is representing a, minus 9 is representing b, plus 5 is representing c. So anywhere you see a here, you are going to use 2. Anywhere where you see b, you are using 5. Anywhere you see b, you are using minus 9. Anywhere you see c, you are using 5. Using this formula, let's go there. So it implies this. You just replace 2 for a, minus 9 for b, and 5 for c. You get this. It gives you this equals to this. So the answer will give you 3.85 or 0.65 as what we got from the completing the square method. So for more information, your question, and how to get other videos clips and the complete version of this video clip, just contact me through my WhatsApp contact as shown on your screen. Thank you.